Malta, the island that refused to fall. Beneath the sunlit cliffs of the Mediterranean lies a rocky fortress with a legacy written in blood and stone. Malta, small, immovable, and vital. This is the story of the island that wouldn't fall. Malta's story begins around 5900 BC. Its first settlers built temples that predate the pyramids of Egypt. For thousands of years, this island has been a stepping stone between continents, and that made it both important and contested. From the Phoenicians to the Carthaginians, the Romans to the Byzantines, the Arabs to the Normans, Malta changed hands countless times. Every power that ruled the Mediterranean wanted it, not for its resources, but for its position, smack in the center of the sea that connected Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. Control Malta, and you controlled naval movement. In 1530, the Spanish crown handed Malta to the Knights of St. John. These warrior monks transformed the island into a heavily fortified bastion. At the tip of the Grand Harbour, they built Fort St. Elmo, guarding the entrances to Valletta and the three cities. In 1565, the Ottomans launched an all-out siege. Fort St. Elmo was the first to be attacked. For weeks, defenders held off waves of assaults before being overrun. Their stand stalled the Ottomans just long enough. The rest of the island reinforced, the siege was broken, and Malta's survival changed the course of European history. Later came Napoleon. In 1798, he took the island en route to Egypt. But the Maltese rebelled, and with British assistance, expelled the French by 1800. Britain would remain for the next 160 years. They turned Malta into what Churchill later called an unsinkable aircraft carrier. Then came World War II. Sitting between Axis North Africa and Allied Europe, Malta was essential to both sides. For the Axis, Malta was a thorn, disrupting supply convoys headed for Rommel's Africa Corps. For the Allies, it was a springboard for attacks and intelligence. Hitler and Mussolini were determined to bomb Malta into submission. Between 1940 and 1942, it was the most bombed place on Earth. More than 3,000 air raids rained fire across the island. The British and Maltese dug in. Across the island, anti-aircraft pillboxes, coastal gun batteries, and underground shelters were constructed. Maltese families lived in caves. Children studied by candlelight between raids. The island became a network of resistance. Despite starvation and siege, Malta never surrendered. In 1942, King George VI awarded the George Cross to the entire population, a medal still displayed on its flag today. Malta had stood alone and refused to fall. After the war, Malta began rebuilding from the ruins. In 1964, it gained independence from Britain. A decade later, it became a republic. From fortress island to sovereign state, Malta began writing its own future. Valletta, once scarred by bombs, is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Baroque palaces and churches have been restored. The Grand Harbour buzzes again, this time with commerce, not conflict. The echoes of war are preserved in stone. Fort St. Elmo, once the front line in sieges, is now home to the National War Museum. Inside, the George Cross, World War II aircraft, and shell fragments tell a story of survival and sacrifice. The Maltese language, rooted in Arabic, laced with Italian, and written in Latin script, embodies the island's hybrid identity. Its festivals, traditions, and churches reflect centuries of faith and adaptation. Modern Malta thrives on tourism, shipping, and technology. It joined the European Union in 2004 and adopted the euro in 2008. Its ports and airports connect Europe to North Africa and the Middle East, still strategic, but now for diplomacy and trade. It's a country that remembers. Beneath new construction lie bomb shelters and battlements. Every bastion and pillbox is a silent monument to the people who endured and overcame. Malta may be small, but it's a giant in memory and meaning. From prehistoric temples to modern parliaments, Malta's story is one of survival and adaptation. It's not just an island, it's a living monument to endurance, to sacrifice, and to the strength of a people who refuse to be conquered. Malta didn't just survive history, it helped shape it. A beautiful blend of cultures, it attracts tourists and provides insight into a defiant landmass that has finally gained its independence.